All right. So let's transition to some final thoughts. I don't know who wants to go first.
You go on,
I want
Harry.
to hear Jayden. No.
Okay.
Jayden, you said at the start when we before we started recording, I've got a lot of things to say about this, and Harry's not going to like it. So come on, Jayden, I want to hear this, mate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rewatch podcast. My name is Samuel.
And I'm Jayden.
And today we have a very special guest joining us, and that is Harry. Welcome, mate. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So you suggested this film of the podcast. So Tron Legacy is what we rewatched this week. Sort of been a favorite of yours, like forever, perhaps?
Yeah, it's definitely been one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
So, 2010.
Oh yeah.
So it's not ancient, and you can tell by the CGI in the film that it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So Harry has been a follower of the podcast sort of from the very start, and by the very start we mean he was the third follower of the Instagram account, and so essentially he's the first follower because the first two followers were myself and Jayden. So
it actually was dedication.
So Harry's been a major supporter.
Yeah, I'm like a little fanboy.
No, so we always wanted to have you on, and what better movie to have you on for? But your favorite movie, probably would you say your favorite movie? Full stop. This is your favorite movie. Yeah.
Hell yeah, hands down, number one favorite movie.
Okay, did you hear that, Jayden?
I did hear that.
Yeah, did you hear that?
I'm gonna hold myself back, but we'll roll with it.
Right, I'm not looking forward to hearing what you have to say. You might offend me.
Okay,
crush my dreams.
For those of you who don't know, this is a podcast where we rewatch classic or current films every week, and then we decide whether they deserve a rewatch from you. Before we begin, a like on this video would be most appreciated. Dropping a like really helps out the algorithm, gets us some more views. Our first episode has just crossed 200 views, so that's really exciting. It's awesome stuff, and that one actually has the most likes as well. So, the algorithm is working for us there. You can subscribe if you'd like. If you're tuning in on Spotify or another major podcast app, you can find us on YouTube by searching The Rewatch. We've also just hit 15 subscribers, which is pretty sick. So thanks to everybody for subscribing there. All right, so story overview and a bit of, factual information about the film. It was released in 2010, and it's an American science fiction action film directed by Joseph Kosinski. Doesn't ring any bells in terms of Joseph Kosinski, but he's directed a few big things like Oblivion, like you're saying, the one that had Tom Cruise in it. So he gets around. He's supposed to be directing Top Gun Maverick, which is obviously the sequel to Top Gun.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be cool. But yes, this was his first sort of debut as a director, which is pretty cool to think about. And obviously, Harry, is this movie a direct sequel to the first one?
I mean, it kind of is, but it isn't. It's got, in the first one, there's Jeff Bridges where he creates the grid. But this is kind of its standalone movie with his son, Sam Flynn. And,
Gotcha. Because I kind of viewed this film as I haven't seen the original, but I thought it was like a sequel to it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original either.
It kind of is, but it isn't. It's like a standalone movie, but it isn't.
Kind of like a spin-off in a way.
And yeah, pretty much. It's like in the original there was Jeff Bridges. Obviously, he's in this movie. The father, Kevin Flynn. It's not really a sequel, but it kind of is in a way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Well, even
So
if
like almost, would you say it was like a remake or not really? Because does the characters carry over? So is any actor in this movie in the previous movie?
Only Jeff Bridges,
Oh, okay. So
which
Jeff
is
Bridges, so the
yeah,
creator. Okay.
the
So I would
creator
I
of
would
the
say
game.
that, yeah, probably I reckon it's probably a sequel. But exciting to know though that there's been another movie confirmed in this franchise.
Mm.
So Harry, do you know sort of like whether that's going to be sort of like a direct sequel to this movie, or just
It has said being that it's going to be a sequel to the Legacy. It
okay?
obviously, if you don't know, it's got Jared Leto.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know how they're going to pop him into the movie
yeah.
because I just I'm not really looking forward to that if it's Jared Leto. He's not a bad actor. He's a fantastic actor, but it's just bring back Olivia Wilde and Garrett Hedlund. You know,
Mm,
they're the main characters.
So
yeah.
they were in the original Tron, right?
No,
The
they're in this one.
original, no,
Oh, they're in this one, are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
they're
okay.
only in Legacy.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And wait, they
Um,
haven't been confirmed for, I think it's called Ascension, right?
yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so Jared
Um,
Leto, he's the only one that's like been confirmed so far, and that's just so weird. Unless he's the villain, I think he could be really cool as the villain. But he's not Jared Leto like as a person. Well, not as a person, but like as an acting personality, he's not really like a heroic. Like you
Yeah,
can't really sympathize with him. Like he's done all these maniac
right.
villains.
Like the Joker, and we've seen him in Blade Runner
Yeah,
2049 as well. And
yeah,
I think if he
um,
was to do something, it'd be kind of
he
like
could
the 2049 sort of esque.
yeah, for
he,
sure.
he could be Tron because not to spoil it, but Tron does live.
Yeah, I was
He
gonna
could
say
be
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tron because like
Oh, that is
when
cool.
like he falls into the water and it's confirmed that he lives, so he
Oh
Oh,
could
yeah,
be
okay.
Tron.
Oh, that's cool.
it's actually a pretty
Yeah.
good
Which
theory.
it is, and I reckon maybe that would suit him because Tron doesn't really talk.
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm still hesitant. I'm very hesitant. I still want Gareth Hedland and Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Yeah, yeah. All right. So for those of you who don't know, this movie, sort of the plot line is the son of a virtual world designer, essentially a video game designer, goes looking for his father and ends up inside the digital world that his father designed. He meets his father's corrupted creation and a unique ally who was born inside the digital world. So essentially, the main character in this movie, he goes looking for his dad. His dad's built this really awesome video game and has managed to be stuck inside that video game. And Sam, the main character, the protagonist, gets stuck in it, and the adventure sort of takes place there. So the whole premise of this movie is, getting stuck inside a video game. And I know all three of us are big fans of, the old video games.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to put this question to both of you. If you could get stuck in a video game, what video game would you get stuck in? And the caveat to this is you can't be the main protagonist. So for example, if you were to say, I want to get stuck in the PS4 Spider-Man game, you wouldn't be Spider-Man, you just be like some random pedestrian.
Gotcha.
Like
Okay.
you got to it's like a world that you want to live in, just like as an unknown character.
Okay.
that is
So we'll start.
that's-
Jayden, do you want to go first and then we'll go to Harry?
Oh damn! I need to think about this.
it's a hard decision because there's a lot of games. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
hard.
Because you don't want to choose, like, you can't choose a protagonist heavy world because you can't be the protagonist, So for me, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag recently, which is a pirate game.
Yeah.
And I think that would be cool because, you could be a pirate. But
Mm.
then also, like, one of my favorite games is Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's, robot dinosaurs and humans are a threatened species. So a dangerous world. But a beautiful world. So that would be my pick. But yeah, what do you guys think? If you could get stuck in a video game like Sam or Jeff Bridges does, or Kevin Flynn's character does,
Well, I was
what
gonna
game?
think, like, if I was to get stuck in Spider-Man PS4, right? It's literally just like Earth, but
Yeah,
with different people in it.
With
So
Spider-Man.
yeah, with Spider-Man. So like, I'm not gonna meet Spider-Man, so there's no point in choosing that. I was thinking about it. Like, I think something like maybe like a Jurassic Park game, if any of them have been made, would be kind of
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Like seeing dinosaurs
Yeah.
and stuff. But
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Harry? Where are you going to get stuck in? Or what video game are you going to get stuck in?
That that is such a hard question.
You really surprised us with this one.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, man. That's hard because I love Fallout 4. That is one of my favorite games.
Ooh.
But I might, if we can't be the main antagonist, I'm gonna have to go Last of Us, the original.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with Ellie. I know it's a bit of a weird
Okay.
choice, but it's a great game. It is
Yeah,
a very
okay. You
fantastic
get
game.
stuck in that. Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
But
very dangerous world to
yeah,
be
you'd
in.
be like
But
constantly
Oh,
running from like the zombies or whatever.
yeah.
that would be awesome. That is so awesome. I mean, scary, yeah, because it's zombies and I don't want to die. But I mean, I'm Ellie, so I'm immune. But it'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, true. Oh yeah. No, cool. Well, because what I was thinking, like throughout watching this movie, is like, how has this not been like an awesome big budget video game, like an actual game where you get stuck in this world and you do the combat frisbees and stuff like that. And yeah, I just remember thinking that this would be such a cool video game, but I don't think there's been any major video games so far. But maybe with the release of this new movie, we can get a video game to go alongside it. That'd be cool.
It's kind of like Jumanji in a way, how the main character gets stuck in a video game and then
Oh yeah,
It
tries
is.
to
I didn't
find
think
his
of
way
that.
out. Yeah.
yeah, very similar actually. I wouldn't be surprised if
Very.
Jumanji was inspired by Tron.
Well, I don't know what came first, the original Jumanji or Tron,
Oh,
Tron.
because
that's a
it'd be
good
very
question.
close.
Oh no,
Yeah,
the original. No, the original
yeah,
was. Oh jeez, you are right.
Jumanji, oh no, Tron, definitely Tron. Jumanji was
Tron came
released in
first.
1995. Tron was like 1984 or whatever.
yeah. 1982. So Tron was like a cult classic, and this movie has been described as something similar. Not like the best sort of reviews, but has got a major fan base. Sort of like, I don't know, your American Psychos and stuff like that. Your Blade Runners, as in the first one. Not good reviews, but was able to mass a following. But we'll go through the characters real quick. I'm just going to go through the main three.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Jeff Bridges as Kevin Flynn. I think he was probably the best in this movie in terms of acting. What did you guys think?
I have to agree with that. I very much have to agree with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, because Jeff Bridges is probably most notably in Big Lebowski, which I have not seen, but apparently it's quite good. I think he might have almost been up for an Oscar for that or something like that. So very 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 good actor, and I think he just brought that talent to the movie. Because I don't know, moving on to Gareth Hedlund as Sam Flynn,
Garrett.
I thought he was a bit basic. What did you guys think?
Look, I think it was. I don't think by any means he was like a bad performance. It was just like, it was an average performance, and it's kind of what you expect from, a sequel. Like, a lot of sequels aren't going to be better than the original because they just can't live up to that. But I think, bringing him on, I quite enjoyed his performance as well. By no means that I hated it at all, but I did prefer Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought, in my opinion, I reckon he was brilliant. He did have some very basic bits where a bit, there were some parts of the movie that I don't know, he just went, it was, like you said, basic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was very good. Especially with
Yeah,
Olivia Wilde. She was great, in my opinion.
Yeah, true. I think Sam Flynn's character, like his only sort of personality trait was the fact that he was cool. Because we see him on the motorbike and the leather jacket and everything like that. But by no means he was like a bad character. Just I think left a bit to be desired in terms of like the emotional part.
His one sole personality was that he's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll go to Olivia Wilde
Yeah.
as Quorra. I don't know. What did you guys think?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Her acting was perfect. It suited her naive character. It was great.
Yeah, she's like basically not human, and I think she does like a half a good, like a quite good job of portraying the fact that she's not like the rest of the humans. But yeah, what did you think, Jayden?
Look, it
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah.
No, 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 no. I just feel like we didn't, and it may be because of the fact that this film didn't really, kind of grab my attention. But I feel that some points in times her character was kind of overshadowed by
Hmm.
Jeff Bridges and what was his name, Harold? I don't remember. The Sam actor, whoever
Yeah, yeah.
played him.
Alan? You mean
Alan.
Alan?
No,
Garrett.
not Alan. The young kid.
Garrett.
Gareth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Garrett Hedland.
Garrett. Yeah. So it was a good performance. It's just that I feel like she could have had more screen time, maybe.
Yeah, she could have had like a bit more emotional depth. I feel we weren't really invested in her character. I think she was cool. I think everyone in this movie, everything about this movie is cool, but missing that sort of that emotional investment
It had
for me.
potential for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's pretty cool.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. I thought she had the right amount of screen time, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah.
I think towards the end is really. I think they really nailed the ending. Like the ending for Quorra. We'll go into it more because we'll get into the spoiler sort of discussion.
Yes.
But like for now, I'll just say that the ending and how her character ended was really, really good.
Mhm.
Like I don't think they could have finished the character any better. But
I said the
I
exact
think-
same thing. Yeah.
yeah,
I think it was a good
So-
wrap up for her character, and I don't think
Yeah.
if we are to see her in the future, I don't know how they're gonna improve on that because I feel like they
Yeah.
kind of they didn't really leave like a loose thread. They kind of tied it all up.
Yeah, they wrapped it up.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go to our general thoughts now. So we'll go still spoiler free at the moment for anybody who hasn't seen the film and is wondering whether they should. I'll say, like, in terms of recommendation, I'll say if you're like a science fiction fan, you like Star Wars, perhaps you like, I don't know, all these like fantasy worlds, and maybe you're a bit of a gamer, then definitely check this movie out, especially if you have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anybody else, maybe those who aren't fans of video games or Star Wars or anything like that, I feel like this is just not for them.
I must say
What-
though,
what-
this film it's intrigued me to watch the original Tron, which
Yeah.
which I didn't expect at all. But
Mm.
I didn't hate this film, so I'm thinking of going back and watching the original now.
That's good. Then it probably served its purpose as a Tron Legacy film.
Yeah, I'd say
what
so.
did you think, Harry? You recommend this to everybody and their dog?
I mean, it is a very underrated film. It didn't do too well in the box office,
Mm.
and it has very mixed reviews. A lot of people disliked it, and then some people really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be for some people. Like some people will like it, some won't. But in my opinion, it's a great movie, and it's very underrated.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always hard when you're doing like a sequel that is so has been created so far long from the original. Like so much time has passed, and it's obviously built up. Like the Tron universe, the Tron like source material has obviously got a major following. So it's always hard to sort of do a sequel movie so many years later to sort of satisfy those fans. But yeah, I haven't seen the original one. I like this one. Knowing that the previous one was made in 1982 and that it's sort of like going to be the same sort of concept, so I feel like the CGI is going to be considerably worse.
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah.
But I was intrigued, to watch the first film, but I haven't yet. But maybe one day. Have you seen the original, Harry?
It is like no, I've really been wanting to though. I really wanted to, but I have not seen it. Apparently, the first ever Tron was like the start of CGI. That was like the
Yeah.
first
Okay.
movie when it comes to CGI because
Mm.
they did when they made it because technology now is very advanced.
For
You
sure,
can just hop on, you can make anything now, any animation, like within a few hours. Back then they had to photo print it. They would have to draw it, and then it'd be like frame by frame, and then they would have to record the faces and then place it on.
Yeah.
Like that took for days to make that movie. It took for ages. Now, if you tried to make that movie, you could make that within like 3 days.
It's
Yeah.
it's always
So,
hard to bash like an
it-
old film like that
Oh yeah,
because of
it's
like
like
the amount of work
the
that goes
old
into
movie.
it. But go on,
Yeah, the people who made the first one have to get a lot of credit because it just took a very uncomfortable process to make that movie.
Yeah, I
But
bet. I
yeah,
think
I
the
have not
first
seen it, and I
movie.
really want to.
Yeah, the first movie I think was like a major accomplishment for cinema in general. So it was like one of those really influential movies because of, the use of CGI. So it probably, pioneered, the use of all of those technologies that we now see in every bloody MCU movie, and the things that plagued the prequel movies and everything like that. So for better or worse, it pioneered the industry. So you got to give it credit for that.
Yeah.
But back to this
It took.
movie, I think. Oh yeah, sorry. What were you going to say, Harry?
I'm sorry. Apparently it took 3 companies to make it. So one company had to hand draw it, another company had to use a CGI to place a face on, and I forgot what the other company did. But yeah, it's like you said, it started something when it comes to CGI.
Yeah, that's crazy. So for this movie, generally speaking, I think like the world, like the video game, it's really really cool. I mean, if I can like describe this movie in one word, it's cool. And I think the CGI is great in some areas. I think it's absolutely diabolical in one specific area. I think though that the music in this movie is really good too. Nothing like mind blowing, but I think it works really really well. I think the music
You can't
is
fault
fantastic.
Daft Punk.
No, you can't.
It,
No, it was really good.
the music really grabs you into the movie. Like Daft Punk did such a great job with the music. This
Yeah.
is what makes the movie so great is the soundtrack.
Mm.
Especially my favorite scene in the movie is like at the start where Sam Flynn is on his bike as a 7-year-old, and then it transitions into him as an adult on his bike with the Daft Punk music in the background. It's a subtle, it really grabs you.
Yeah.
It makes you
Nice.
interested.
Yeah, music is so important. I mean, we've said so many times, like on previous episodes, if a movie doesn't have good music, it almost can't get into that A tier. Music is such an important part of every film, and it can really like make or break a film.
I was
to be
gonna
honest,
say, yeah.
Yeah, because the music immerses you. It brings you into the experience. Just think of Joker. I mean, as soon as the music starts going in that movie, you feel something.
Yeah.
So music is just so important. Cons for me, I think, obviously Tron has like this massive lore, like as a universe, but I think as we follow these characters, we got way too many like flashbacks as to where these characters came from and what happened to them and stuff like that, and I didn't particularly find them very interesting. I also think like the start of the movie is horrendously boring. I mean, like I like this movie. I like this movie.
Oh, you're
But
crushing my feelings already. I
I'm
thought
sorry,
Jayden
bro.
was going to be worse.
the first 20 minutes of this movie where like the corporate executives of the company are like sitting around getting ready to debut their new product or something, and Sam's like sneaking in and like, I don't know, uploading a dog video or something. It's just horrendously boring. I'm sorry, Harry, but
I didn't
the
mind
start.
that, man.
I tried to watch this movie like 2 weeks ago, just like for fun, because I remember watching it once and I thought it was cool. And, I'll check it out again. And I didn't get through it. I stopped after 15 minutes. I'm like, I can't watch any more of this.
Bro,
but
damn.
it gets better as it goes along for sure. But the start is just so bad. Like, we could have easily had like a scene from Tron, like an out of context Tron flashback or something like that. Like actually in the video game, and we could have had a really cool flashback with, with Sam's dad and Tron and, and Clue, and not really given the context. But I think the start of this movie is just, horrendous for me personally. For me,
No, bro. It sets the movie up great. Like as you said, he goes into his father's building, which he does every year. Every year he'll go into the building and do his annual prank. But I just thought it was great, and like, you're crushing my heart here, man. I thought
sorry,
Jayden was
bro.
going to be worse.
We'll see as we go along. I think it's all uphill from there, though. Well, I think to go to sort of more spoiler talk now, if you guys are all right with that, we'll sort of go to some major plot points. But again, I just want to say, like, the design of everything in this movie, like from the ships to the costumes to just the world, is so awesome. And Jayden, I'm a big fan of Blade Runner, and I got major Blade Runner vibes from this. And I know you've seen a bit of Blade Runner 2049. Did you sort of see the similarities there?
Oh, I could definitely see how you would connect this to Blade Runner. I mean, it's kind of got that I guess neon sort of undertone, I guess, and it's kind of like in Blade Runner where we see the city has like a bunch of billboards and it kind of looks like, one big Times Square.
Yeah. There's lots of neon and dark places that are lit up with blue light and very sci-fi. I'm guessing you haven't seen the Blade Runner movies, Harry?
No, I have
No, you should
heard
check them out though.
I know I have heard a lot about it, and I have wanted to be watching it. I want to watch it, but in the future, I'll give it a check out.
I think you'd enjoy
Yeah.
it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if you like this, I think you've got a good chance of liking. Check out the second one first, though. So watch Blade Runner 2049 first.
No, it's not going to be Tron, though.
Yeah.
Never going to be Tron.
Yeah. Okay.
Sam like shaking in his boots. Hey, you both hate each other's films, so let's do it even, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
So I think, to say again, I think the costume design in this movie is absolutely epic. Like, what did you guys think of, like the Tron suits and, the blue good guys and the orange bad guys and, the motorbikes, the spaceships? Is pretty awesome, right?
It's amazing. Like, it's amazing. Like, even it's like what 10 years old, and it still looks like a movie that's being made today. I mean, Kevin's face and Clue's face look a bit old, but the whole atmosphere of Tron is just beautiful. Like, especially when Clue is running on his, when he's on the grid. It's a light cycle. When he's running and then he jumps and then the bike just forms. That was just like 10 years later. I've watched so many movies with, and the CGI is just amazing. The costumes amazing. I reckon it's just great.
Yeah, one thing I did kind of pick up from this film is that going into it, I kind of expected it to have pretty trash, CGI at the time. I mean, 2010, wasn't too good of a year. But yeah, it still stands up, and scenes like Harry picked up on there, where we see the light cycle form as he jumps onto it. It's like fine tuned so much, and you can see all the detail really, really come out. And it must have taken so much work. But on one side we have that, and then on the other side, we've got like, young Jeff Bridges was just, oh man, it's a
Horrendous.
bit. let's
Let's
talk
just
about
avoid
young
that
Jeff.
part.
Harry's
It's just
defending this movie to the
it's
death, and then you know what? I
oh yeah,
respect that.
you will never bring me apart from this movie. It's
Yeah.
okay. The face is a little bad, but we're gonna skip that.
Yes, I think a little bad is an understatement. I think, oh my gosh, so okay, we'll go to that. We'll just go to Clue's character then now for a second. So he's an AI replica of
Kevin.
Kevin
Kevin,
or
yeah.
Sam's dad, and he's a program, so he's not real. But it's the same sort of thing with Blade Runner. It's like he looks real, but he's not real. But in this case, he does not look real because he's CGI. Now, if you want to make a sort of like a younger version of an actor, either you like de-age them with makeup, or you just get a new actor.
Didn't what was that movie? Virgo do it with Will Smith, was it? Virgo?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
The new one?
Was it called Virgo? Yeah, the new one.
No. Oh damn, what was that called?
I'm not sure.
It's like when it's like younger Will Smith and older Will Smith fight each other.
Oh yeah, no, I think I know what this is.
But
it's like Gemini Man or something. I don't know.
Yes, that was it. That was it. God, I don't know where I got Virgo from. We'll skip that bit. But you got to admit, okay, the face in that movie was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
When was that released? Like 2019.
Very recent.
Yeah, very recent.
Yeah, if you put that up against younger Jeff Bridges, you got to admit, 10 years back, that's pretty good. For 2010 movie.
100%. I mean, we've seen, recent films in recent years, perform at the same quality of Tron Legacy. I mean, we've seen Grand Moff Tarkin from Rogue One, I think it was, and that looked horrendous. I mean,
yes,
it was kind of terrifying in a way, and we'll chuck it up on screen now if you can find it. And then, at the same time, we've also got Princess Leia from Rogue One, which was in the same film.
It's horrendous too.
Which looked terrible as well. So, for its time, 2010, I mean, it was kind of, I guess it was in a way, revolutionary, because I can't think of any other films that have, performed de-aging in that sort of era of time.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were going for. I think they were probably, to excuse it, is like a good tactic to excuse this is to say that they were trying to make the bad guy look less human, like look less real. And because he just looks like a video game character. And it just, and the problem with that is when you're trying to create like a likable villain, or you're just like a good villain, he has to be able to give like an emotional performance, and you can't do that you can't give an emotional performance through CGI and through like lifting up certain areas of the face to make him angry and stuff. Like you just can't do it. Like
it's very hard.
If they were going for the whole this guy's clearly not human, like look how bad he looks, then sure, you can excuse it. But for me, I just couldn't help it. I was like, surely if they were going to use this character, a younger version of an older actor, you either have to like try and make up him the best you can and give him a wig and stuff like that, or you just get like a lookalike actor from a younger aged like character that looks sort of like him, because then you can sort of give a performance, sort of like getting a Ewan McGregor for an Alec Guinness like as Obi-Wan. Like they don't have to look like exactly the same, but just get someone that you can that is good enough for the audience to be like, okay, I think that's the older guy as a younger version.
As long as you get the mannerisms right, it's going to perform well. And I mean, we've seen it, with Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness, which was done quite well as in that sort of area. But we've also seen it with whoever played
Eckhart?
whoever played Han Solo in Solo, which wasn't too good of a movie, but I do think that his performance kind of impersonating oh my god, it's just disappeared from my mind.
Han Solo,
No, Harrison Ford. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was also done quite well. And I mean, they could have gone down the route of, making Jeff Bridges' younger self a completely different actor, which would have worked great as well. And I do think that them making young Jeff Bridges was intended to make him look realistic, and I don't think it was meant to make him look like a video game character. Because we do see in the introductory scene where we see a young Sam, we see a young Jeff Bridges as well, and he's basically like a carbon copy of
yeah.
Clue. So it was definitely intended that he was meant to look realistic, but they kind of just fell short on that end. But I'm not gonna, bash them on it because it was a 2010 film and it was kind of revolutionary.
They're trying to push the boundaries, so you got to give them credit for that for sure.
But by the end, I'm not going to spoil it because we'll talk about it later. But by the end, when he looks at Kevin, you can see in his face for the approval and acceptance. But obviously, he can't. He has to fulfill his dark half. But you can even the CGI was a little bit bad, but that was like 2010 standards. That was like really good back then. But I reckon, as I said, at the end they nailed it because you can see on his face. You can see he's trying to go in for the hug. You can see his face just thinking about it, processing it. So, yeah.
100%. And I think those last 10 minutes were probably the best part of the film for me in particular.
I agree.
I'm a sucker for self-sacrifice. Not to spoil it early, but I'm a sucker for it, man. It just makes me sad.
All right, so we'll jump into some major spoilers now. So if you have not seen the movie, go check it out. It's a fun time. If you like Star Wars, you'll like this.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alerts.
Wow, okay.
So let's go to, I guess we'll jump to the very end. But along the way, I just want to say the Frisbee scene is really cool. And it was a shame that we didn't see that again after the first bit. Sort of like, the Disc Wars concept is essentially if Frisbee was a contact sport. I thought, and it was pretty cool. It was an awesome concept. They have these identity discs that they throw around, and you can, de-res people with them, or so essentially, kill people with them, and I thought that was really cool. And it was sort of a shame that we never really saw that again after that first scene. What did you think, Harry? Did you want to see that? What did you think of the Disc Wars and the flipping of frisbees and stuff like that?
I mean, they had it. They had like they had the fights. It was amazing. Like how when they got hit, they would just pixelate. Like that part was incredible. But in my opinion, I reckon it was enough. Maybe I would have liked a little bit more. Not gonna lie, because it did look sick, and it's like you said, it is a really cool concept. I thought maybe a little bit more, but I reckon it was right enough because you get the fighting with Sam going to go retrieve his father's disc, and he's fighting there. But maybe a little bit more because it wasn't, like you said, cool concept. But I reckon it was enough there.
Yeah, and then we also get the light cycles, so the motorbikes. And I just remember seeing that, and I'm thinking that's such a cool video game concept with that that light trail that goes behind the bike, and if you cut people off and they hit your light trail, they'll explode essentially, like they'll de-res. Like that's such a cool concept for like a video game, but we haven't really seen that yet.
Well, they actually did make a game, a Tron game. It was on the
really?
Wii. Yeah, but it kind of failed. Like Disney tried to make a game, but it failed. I haven't played it. I don't know much about it, but I know it did not go well.
It's a shame. No, there's definitely probably an audience that would play a game like that. Just like imagine, just like a multiplayer game that maybe had 3 modes, and one was Disc Wars and the other was light cycle stuff, and the other one was like, in-air combat with the spaceships. It would just be awesome. But oh well, we
Yeah,
can only wait.
I reckon it'd be repetitive in my opinion. Because it's like
Hmm.
those three modes. I mean, you can verse multiple characters. Like you can verse Tron / Rinsler. You can verse multiple people. I just reckon it'd be a bit repetitive.
Hmm.
Like I said with the game, how that failed, I reckon that the game would just fail too.
Yeah. What did you guys think of Clue as a villain? We sort of touched on him a bit already. And then what did you think of the Tron? So like, obviously the movie is called Tron, and the game is obviously called Tron 2, and we have a character in the movie that is called Tron, but he's not a very influential character. Like he's sort of just like a pawn of
Clue.
Clue.
Mm.
Yeah, sort of
Yeah,
weird.
well, Clue repurposed him. So, as you see in the flashback, Clue kills him, and then because
Oh,
that's all Clue can do. He can only when he can because when Kevin was making the system, obviously he made Clue. Clue was there to make the perfect system. So he was there to build buildings. He was there to make cities, and
hmm.
he couldn't create programs. He could only repurpose them. So every time they died, he can repurpose them back and set them into a mood. That's what he did with Tron.
Mm.
He killed Tron. He repurposed him, and his name was Rinsler for the entire
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, and then Tron sort of has like a cool redemption at the end almost then.
Yeah.
So is that like Tron sort of becoming his own, like I don't know, his own user, I guess? Like what's the deal with the repurposing of characters, I guess?
Well, see, with Tron, he was actually built in the old system. So Alan, Kevin Flynn's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he in the old Tron system, like the actual Tron game, he was the main character in the Tron game.
Oh,
But
okay.
they brought Tron into the grid, which is Kevin's creation. They brought him into the grid so he can protect it, so nothing bad happens while Kevin's away. And that's also why Clue was made. So while Kevin was in the real world taking care of his son and taking care of his taking care of Encom, Clue was there in the game building.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
cool.
cool ending scene with him fighting for the users, and it just it was amazing, and it really like sets up something. If like Tron Ascension, they're really setting up something there
Mm-hmm.
with Tron just falling into the water and then turning blue.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of put at the end of my notes that that was like a loose thread, and they're definitely setting up for something else there. I mean, it was pretty obvious. Um, One thing I did want to touch on though, and I'm not sure if either of you guys, probably not Harry because he like absolutely loved this film, but Sam, I wanted to see if you picked up on this. Um, One thing I noticed off the bat of this film is that the color grading in this film is a bit weird. Like, I don't like looking at films that are like set in one color. Like, I feel like I was watching the movie through blue tint sunglasses,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a bit weird because you can just see this bluey undertone the whole way through, and you also see this in films like Justice League, where it's just been like
Yeah. Zack
absolutely
Snyder's, yeah.
slammed with an orange undertone. And we've also seen it, films like The Matrix, and that's not to say that The Matrix is a bad film at all, because it's an absolute masterpiece. I can't say the same for the Justice League, but uh, but I feel like it's just a bit dull looking at one color for the whole film. And this is like a video game movie, and it's neon colors and stuff, so I can see how having blue in this film was an essential element. I just
Hmm.
feel like, I don't know, looking at a film for so long, I want to see different colors pop up, and I want to see, I want to see some purple, I want to see some orange, and I feel like looking at blue for a whole film is
Yeah.
just a bit dull, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from there. I know, like, I get infuriated by Zack Snyder because, he does make good movies. Like Man of Steel was a good movie,
Hmm.
but it was such a dull movie in terms of color. Like, you think Superman's suit is like it's not vibrant. You
Yeah.
know, the whole movie's not vibrant. It's just got this blue filter over it that just makes it drowns all the colors out.
Mm.
And I think, you know, this point is great to sort of parallel with Blade Runner, because Blade Runner is an entirely blue universe, but it's one of the most beautiful films ever made, the sequel anyway.
Mm.
And the reason why that is because it's not blue all the time. You know,
Yeah.
there's signs, and there's, you know, there's neon signs, there's pink,
There's
and
orange. There's a lot of orange in the
yeah.
film as well. Mm.
Yeah, and you know, the character goes to different locations, and I understand obviously the limit with this is that
It's set in
it's a
the game.
yeah, it's a video game. You know, there's a map, and you can't go off the map. There's nothing else there, and so, but I feel as though they could have, you know, made the world a bit more, you know, a bit more life, given a bit more life to it.
Well, they probably could have switched back to, you know, the other world that we were given, because in the original world as well, you get that blue undertone as well. So it's not just in the game; it's in the actual, I guess you could call it Earth. I don't know where it's set, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. There's no sort of like bright colors apart from the blue and the black, and you know, when you see that for so long, and then, you know, we have, you know, locations that are just white, and then with blue accents, it's like, you know, the only colors that exist in this world are white, black, and blue. But then again, you have to say, like, it's a arcade video game, or at least it started as an arcade video game, and the only colors would have been black, blue, and red. So, you know, what do you think, Harry? Do you think, like, you know, it could have had some more colors, more vibrant colors, or, you know, got to stick with the black and blue theme? You know, be respectful to the original game system.
Homage.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's just fine. I reckon there's enough colors there to really set the mood. I don't think there's, in my opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I reckon it is just fine.
See, I think
we have an A+ rating incoming.
I can see how someone would say, you know, this film is just right, and I can see how someone would understand that the color grading is perfect, because it's meant to be like that. And that's one drawback from this film, is that there's limitations, and they can't bypass that. It's meant to be set in a game, so it's a bit hard in that respect.
Yeah,
it's meant to be like the original. It was just like the black and blue.
Yeah. So they're like restricted. You know, Blade Runner you can do whatever you want with that universe, because the source material is the movie, and, you know, I think there may have been a novel, but then, you know, in the sequel they're like, okay, let's expand the universe, you know. So maybe in this next one, you know, maybe some time has passed, and, you know, maybe the game has been made into, you know, a bit of a more modern game, you know, with a bit more detail or something like that, you know. But they got to do something to make the world interesting again. But I'm really keen for the sequel, so, you know, take for that what you will.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. What did you guys think? We'll go to the very end. So what did you guys think of, like, the final battle? Personally, I looked at Sam's dad and I was like, okay, this man is not leaving the game. He's going to have to sacrifice himself. Like, you know, there's not going to be a happy ending for this guy here.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of, like, that ending where we had Sam's dad sacrifice himself, and Quorra and Sam got away, and Clue, you know, sort of had like almost like an arc maybe, but, you know, I think that was the best. I mean, we've said it already. The last 20 minutes of the film were probably the best. But what did you guys think?
It was hard, but it's even harder to know. Like, this is what makes Jeff Bridges such a good actor. It'll be like 40 minutes near the end of the film. He realizes that he won't be able to make it. Like, he knows that he will have to sacrifice himself, and the decision is solely for his son, and that's what makes Jeff Bridges such a great actor. As I said, it's sad and emotional.
I think go on.
No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say, I agree with Sam here. I mean, I kind of picked up that, you know, obviously Jeff Bridges is getting kind of old, and I don't think that they'll probably bring him back for another film. So they have to wrap up his storyline. And I can see, I kind of started guessing towards the end of the film that there's probably going to be a self-sacrifice here, which is going to make Harry pretty happy. So yeah, and I do think it was a fitting ending. I mean, at one point they have to kind of kick off his character, and he's not the main character, so they have to bring Sam and stuff to the spotlight because they're the stars of the film. So I feel like maybe cutting Jeff Bridges off was the best route they could have done, and kind of given more attention to the other characters of the new generation of Tron.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it was sort of fitting for Sam's dad to die because obviously he created the game. He created Clue. It's his responsibility, so it can only sort of be rectified. Like his mistake can only be rectified by himself. That fits nicely. But yeah, I just remember thinking like the whole time, I'm like, this is nice that Sam and his dad are reunited, but his dad's not going back with him. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the ending of the film. I thought it was really good. Especially really enjoyed the final shot of Quorra seeing the sun, because obviously, yeah, we learned that obviously Quorra's she's only ever lived in a video game, and so she's never seen the sun before. So she asks Sam, what's the sun like? And he's like, excuse me, what? Like, but yeah, so. Harry, what's the deal with Quorra? Like, what's her... I know she has, like, a special race, but I don't think I really sort of picked it up. So would you mind sort of, like, going into the lore of, like, what is she?
So she's an ISO, which is an isomorphic algorithm. There was like a whole life form of ISOs. So pretty much ISOs, if you don't know, are self-produced programs that evolved into the system. Like they made themselves into the system, and they unfortunately they get all killed. Like every single one of them get killed because Clue saw them as an imperfection. And what was so special about these ISOs was that they could fix modern day problems. Like they can fix medicine, science. They can fix anything, right? And it was going to be, and Kevin Flynn says this in the film. It was going to be his gift to the real world because they could fix anything. That was so special about them. They could fix modern day medicine, science. Just they were. Yeah,
they were gonna evolve humanity.
Yeah, exactly. They were gonna help. Yeah, they were gonna help humanity, but like I said, Clue saw them as an imperfection, and so he killed every single one of them. And Quorra is the last one, and Kevin has been trying to protect her ever since.
So obviously at the end we see Quorra obviously get back to Earth. So in terms of like the sequel, if it is in fact a sequel, which I think it is, Quorra's been released into the Earth, and she's obviously a human or like a creation that can help move, science and all of, and health and everything like that, and push, that innovation and, do great things for the world. That was the whole premise of wanting to get Quorra back to Earth. So, the next movie, thinking of what that's going to entail, are we going to have like a perfect society maybe, because Quorra's this being that can help transform modern day medicine and disease, like cure disease and stuff like that?
I don't really know. Like I don't know really. Yeah, I don't know. Like we're gonna have to wait and see until we get more information about this film. But Disney have been really mouth shut about this.
It's definitely left up for interpretation. I mean, this film could go anywhere. I don't even know if we know it's a sequel. It might be a sequel, but I don't think it's been confirmed. So, making speculation as of now is probably not going to be, it's not going to be accurate. but I do see how, certain plot points through this film could most definitely be speculated and guessed correctly for the next film. I mean, Jared Leto as Tron just seems pretty reasonable in my eyes.
It seems pretty fitting.
Yeah. I
we're
think
gonna have to wait and see.
they can either do like a reboot and start entirely fresh, or they can, continue on. But I don't know, if it's got Jared Leto in it, it's going to be pretty big budget. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try and reboot it. Disney has sort of lost their imagination and creativity recently. They can only do live action remakes and sequels to movies that we don't want.
Yeah.
So God knows what they're going to do. Hopefully they don't ruin this franchise as well.
It's just my
But hey,
feel. Like, this is going to sound dumb, and I'm a Tron fan. I love Tron, but I don't think there should be a sequel. I just,
yeah.
it hurts to say, but it ended perfectly. It ended with Quorra and Sam on the bike and her seeing her first sunset. Boom, end it. Never. It's like like Joker. That's like a movie you don't make again. It's finished perfectly, and you don't make another sequel. I reckon that's the same.
Unfortunately, we're at the time with big studios as well. It just, oh my gosh, it just makes me so angry. It infuriates me really, because we get a good movie like Joker, and apparently now there's going to be a sequel to that, and I'm thinking, what on earth?
I think there's going to be 2 more films, isn't there?
Yeah, and obviously Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, he was fantastic, and of course he wants to go back to the character, but somebody shouldn't let him. You shouldn't, like, the movie was great.
Yeah.
But it's a standalone movie. You can't. What else do you do with that character? And to bring it back to this movie, what else do you do with that storyline? They've won. The good guys have won.
Nothing. You just end the story there. Like it's like it. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It one was awesome. Like, it was just really good. And then when the sequel come out, it kind of just went a bit downhill. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. It's a
like
bit different.
Films like that have to make a sequel because it's part of the book, and leaving it kind of unfinished is going to be a bit weird because there's a fan base that wants to see the second half of the book. But
that is true.
Stuff like Tron, it's reached its potential, and I don't see how it can be expanded upon any further than what we've already seen in Tron Legacy and Tron, and like Joker as well. Certain films just shouldn't be touched after such a great performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but this is where we are at with the film industry. So my bet probably is that it's going to be a reboot, and I also bet that they're probably going to be like, oh, and we've planned an entire franchise, and after the first one, we're going to do 2 more, and we're going to do a Sinister Six movie as well, and then the first one's going to fail.
Sam's still salty about the Amazing Spider-Man 3.
All right. Regardless, we'll move on to the music segment. So, for those of you who are wondering, what is the music segment? Well, every week we add a minimum of 1 or a maximum of 2 songs from the official soundtrack of the movie that we watched this week. As we've said before, the music in this is great. Obviously, it's all been composed or created, DJ'd by Daft Punk. And so, Harry, I said you could pick one. What was your pick for like a song that really stands out for you in the movie?
It's got to be the Son of Flynn. It's the song where I spoke about earlier, where he's on the bike and then it transitioned to him as an adult. I love that song, man. It is amazing.
Yeah. No, awesome. I'm seeing parallels with how Harry talks about this movie and how I talk about Spider-Man or The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's like, just that love for a movie. So, I respect that. The music is fantastic. Would you agree, Jayden?
Yeah, I'd say so as well. I mean, Daft Punk, we see a cameo from them in this film as well. I don't really listen to a lot of, I guess, house electronic music.
Yeah.
Daft Punk is like classic. I mean, they've released, quite a few tracks that have reached over 1 billion views, I think, on YouTube. So they're well known.
Yeah, I think they were definitely like trending at the time of this movie's release too. Like I remember 2010.
I think they're a really good fit for this film as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
They better
So
bring
Son of
they better bring
Sorry,
them
what was
back
that?
for the they better bring them back for the sequel. Because if they
Oh, yeah,
don't,
that would be cool.
it's just going to be horrifying if they don't.
Yeah, unless they don't unless they get like a Ludwig Göransson or Hans Zimmer. But I reckon stick with Daft Punk.
100%.
That'd be cool. So the Son of Flynn is going in the rewatch playlist, and the song that I added in was End of the Line. It's just a song that is sort of like an ambient song as they're sort of traveling to find Zeus. And I just thought it was a really cool background sound, really cool electronic music. So yeah, that one's going in as well. For the viewers listening, you can follow the rewatch playlist through the link in the YouTube description. It's just a playlist on Spotify that you can listen to all of the music that we've come across so far in season 1. So check it out. I will say the music in this movie is good, and it was in fact nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, really?
The film was nominated for Best Sound Editing, but it lost to Inception. And I mean, who better to lose to for sound editing? I mean, the Inception had some of the greatest music in movies ever.
Yeah.
So unlucky.
They also they actually won an award for animation and like CGI, but apparently they didn't get the award because apparently they were cheating in some way. I don't know the full story, but I know they got nominated for it. Yeah, apparently they were cheating in some way.
Controversy.
Yeah,
They got the anti-award for young Jeff Bridges. The anti-Oscar.
All right, so let's transition to some final thoughts. I don't know who wants to go first.
You go on.
I want to hear Jayden. No. Okay. Jayden, you said at the start when we before we started recording, like, I've got a lot of things to say about this, and Harry's not going to like it. So come on, Jayden, I want to hear this, mate.
Okay, so I wrote in my notes that I was going to start off with my I rating, but I'll keep that to the end because I want to build some intensity here.
Build some suspense.
Yeah, some suspense.
Okay.
So at no point in this film did I really resonate with the performances of the cast, and I felt that certain points, and the visuals were also kind of bland, like I said before, with the color grading. And the story was about as good as you can get for a sequel. And I feel like bringing in new characters was the right decision, but I feel like I don't know, the story just didn't really connect with me in the way that I would have hoped. And I kind of saw this from the start. I mean, this isn't really my film, but I can see how people enjoy these sorts of films. So I definitely felt like this film shined in the last 10 minutes, like I said before. And also that Jeff Bridges was probably the standout in this film, which is unfortunate because people like Sam and whoever the other one was called, I can't remember, but Quorra. They probably should have been the spotlight in this film, but Jeff Bridges, man, his performance just kind of elevated above theirs. So I feel like this film, don't kill me, I feel like this film probably deserves like a C rating, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't be, disheartened by that because, you can like this film. I just don't like it as much.
No, for sure. No, I accept that. I see where you're coming from.
I was talking about Harry, but
no. No, I was taking it as well. I'm sort of talking for Harry because I don't want him to get too mad. All right, Harry, do you want to go?
Never talking to you again, Jayden, man. My feelings. You already know I love this film. I love everything about it. I love.
Go on, give it an A+.
Oh yeah, it's getting an A++++.
Okay, we'll
sucking
make it
those apples. Sucking those apples, Jayden. All right, sucking those apples.
Count how many pluses that was, Jayden, and chuck that in.
4. That's 4
rating.
I'll do that.
4. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yep. So any reason as to why it gets an A+++ from you, Harry?
Okay. Actors are amazing. as we said, Jeff Bridges, wonderful performance. I reckon Garrett Hedlund was just perfect for this film. And Olivia Wilde, absolutely perfect for the naive program. And just the story is just so good, man. It is. It's amazing. There's like when I watch a film, I watch it really closely.
Mhm.
Like if it transitions to a scene weirdly, like wait, suddenly in this scene, and now we're over here, but in this movie, it smooths right. It's just perfect. Like it's easy to understand the movie.
Mhm.
The story's great. I love this movie so much, bro. I love it.
Oh, good on you.
Can I just jump in here real quick? I was gonna say, Sam. So obviously you like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah.
But you view that as your favorite film, favorite in quotation marks, not the best film, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about that on our top 5 films video.
Yeah.
I'm interested as to whether Harry thinks whether this is his favorite film or whether this is the best film, because I can't justify putting this film up against, Shawshank Redemption or The Godfather.
It is.
Yeah, so
It is.
Harry, objectively speaking, what do you think? Like, do you think, like, trying to view this movie objectively, obviously it's your favorite, so like it's an A+ in your heart, but what do you think, like, in terms of, like, from an average viewing perspective?
Some people are gonna like it. Some people won't. It's not the best
Yeah.
movie of all time.
Okay.
Like there are movies that are amazing. Go above and beyond amazing. But when it comes to this movie, it's personal preference.
Yeah.
Do you like sci-fi? Do you like games? Then you'll enjoy this movie.
Yeah,
Like,
I completely understand
critics.
how you can have that opinion, because Sam obviously praises The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I don't like either of your favorite films.
I don't think I praise The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think I defend it, and
You defend it, yeah.
I praise certain parts of it, but like
You're
it's
blinded
the same
by
thing with The Last
nostalgia,
Jedi.
Sam.
Yes,
I'm
well,
sorry,
it's the
Sam.
same.
I didn't like it. I didn't like Amazing Spider-Man.
Ooh.
But
Oh
see,
no, that's okay. That's okay.
that's like
See,
preference. That's like preference.
yeah.
Sam's like
And the
changing
thing
his
is,
rating right now for this.
the thing is with those sort of movies, and probably The Last Jedi is the best example. There are people that say The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie ever, and
Damn,
to that I say, look, the Last Jedi can be your favorite Star Wars movie, but you have to admit that it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing with The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for me. Like, that's my favorite movie, but it's a bad movie, and that just means that I like a bad movie, and that's completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Tron is like a bad movie. I just think it could have been so much better. Like, there's such a cool world here to really, explore an awesome story with, amazing visuals and everything like that. So I don't know. For me, I'm going to give it a B-. And the only thing that got it out of the C tier was the world and the music.
Mm-hmm.
And what really dragged it down was, I think, the story. But I really like this universe here, and I feel like if they can give it a bit more emotional depth, then the sequel, there's no reason why the sequel, the reboot, whatever it is, can
It's got mad
can
to do well.
yeah, exactly. So Harry, you sticking with your A+++++?
I'll just add a few more pluses for the soundtrack.
Okay.
6 pluses.
Okay.
Just put like a plus and then like 6. Yeah.
Okay.
7 pluses.
Yeah, let's go with that. Was 7. That's it.
7. Okay, wonderful. All right,
Maybe
we'll
8.
wrap it up there.
If Jayden apologizes,
we got to wrap this up. Otherwise, we're going to run out of space on the Instagram post for the pluses. Reach a certain limit.
Give me all the pluses, bro.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Big thanks to Harry for coming on. We enjoyed having you on, bro. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for the continued support.
Thank you for having me on. It means a hell of a lot.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have you back on, because we'll definitely
Oh, yeah.
hit some more movies that I'm sure you'll want to,
Give
have a
some
chat
more
about.
pluses.
Yes, yeah, with your very non-biased and objective review rating scale.
Never.
So it'll be
Never.
good. It'll be,
I'm not biased.
it'll be good to have you back. This is really fun.
Thank
So, if you'd like to follow us, guys, you can head over to the Instagram at the Rewatch Pod. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, just search the Rewatch on YouTube. We just released a Spider-Verse video, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So you can check that out if you'd like. Some more YouTube videos coming shortly. So just subscribe to that, and you'll see everything
Stick
coming
around.
your way. Yeah, so thanks for listening. Thanks again to Harry for coming on. Bye for now, everyone.
Yep.
Bye-bye.